Well, good morning, everyone. This is Jamie Silver with Herff Jones Yearbooks. I hope this finds you well today. Welcome to October. Welcome to the October episode of the Yearbook podcast. I do want to say right off the bat, I'm a little under the weather right now, so I apologize for the coughing and my voice being a little out. But anyway, today we have two areas to cover. One is a list of reminders for this time of year, just little pointers, things to consider this time of year. And the other are two quick presentations. The first one is actually very quick. It's about 4 minutes, and it's a plant video tour, if you will, to see behind the scenes and how your yearbooks are made throughout the school year. The second is a photography session taught by Scott Rogers of Stuart Rogers Photography. That one's about 14 minutes, a little bit longer, but a wealth of knowledge Scott is sharing with you on all the photo basics and a lot of examples, including sports photography, composition equipment, and a little cheat sheet that I'll include in the link below for you to use at school. So I wanted to mention what we're covering today. It will be a little bit longer. This way you can jump ahead if you want to cover the photo session maybe another day at school while you're talking about photography. Feel free to jump to that. That will be at the end. Okay, to start, I also did want to say, for those affected by all the recent storms and hurricanes and whatnot, you've received an email from us probably on 9/27 that talks about this, and the headline was #YearbookStrong. And the idea here, folks, is we'd like to help if you're interested in connecting with some of these folks impacted by the storms, and offer to put you in touch with schools, in Florida and Texas, to see if you can give a helping hand in any way that might be. So from school to school, if that's something you're interested in, we're happy to help put you in touch with schools affected by the hurricanes. Just let me know. Happy to help you with that. Another reminder, this week, actually, so October 2nd through the 6th is National Yearbook Week. This is the time where we all celebrate all the hard work that we are starting now and be working on throughout the school year. So it's time to celebrate all the work that you put into the yearbook and the history that documents later in life as it turns into history and goes on the shelf for decades to come. Another reminder is the Fall JEA Conference. I'm going to pull up their website as we talk here. If you haven't been to a JEA event, the national event here, this is an amazing conference to go to. I highly recommend it. For those of you going, Herff Jones does sponsor the advisor luncheon as well as a special offsite advisor reception. So if you're an advisor and you're going, please let me know, and I will be happy to send you a personal invitation to that offsite reception. For the students listening, we have a lot of fun going on at the booth. So in between sessions, if you'd like to stop by the booth, please feel free. Unfortunately, I can't make it this year, so you won't find me at the booth, but all my coworkers will be there, and we're going to have a lot of fun stuff there. So please feel free to stop by the Herff Jones booth at the JEA conference. Next reminder I want to get to, I'm actually going to start with some questions to get you thinking and offer a solution for some of these topics. So first question is, would you like, or do you have any challenges, I should say, with your yearbook sales at school? Marketing the book, promoting the book, collecting sales, all that. If you have any challenges there, think about that. Would you like, if you're not already doing it, offering credit card purchases to families and parents and students who are buying the yearbook that you're working on? And preferably without paying the cost of doing so. So Visa, MasterCard, they all charge, typically 3% of the transaction. Is that something you'd like more help with? Would you like your community to be able to buy your book 24/7 online, without having to bring cash or check to school, or a mixture of both? Maybe you want to offer both. For those who insist on using cash or check, you can still do that. But boy, in these times, wouldn't it be great if you're not doing this already, to be able to just send parents online and purchase it whenever they want at their convenience. And the other side is promoting and marketing your book. And you may have seen some information from us on teaming up with organizations like DECA and DECA students to help sell your yearbook and promote your yearbook and ads and all that, everything you work on. But is this something you'd like more help with? And the reason I'm asking all these questions is this is something that we can help you with quite a bit. And I'll just direct you to this website. You can come here at any time and look at more information, but I want to share a little bit and a success story using Sales Assist. The idea here is we have an office of folks in Kansas City, and their primary role is to help promote your book and sell your book. and they are amazing, and they have some awesome tools to help you do just that. So from any gamut of that conversation, you're welcome to just use our website for free, by the way. We even absorb those credit card fees just to sell your book for you. Happy to do that. That's easy. I can set it up for you. The next big resource in this area is helping you promote the book and complementing, if you still want to promote the book at school, complementing what you're already doing. Some schools just say, you know what, just do it, and we just do it for you. Some schools do it at school and want us to help. Any of the above, we're happy to do. Something that we've been doing for the last couple years, so it's relatively new, and we've been tweaking it every year, and I just want to share some of the highlights for the 2018 school year, is the parent email campaign. And the idea here is, and here's an example, a basic example of an email that will go out to any non-buyers, okay? And it will remind them, click here to buy your yearbook today. The beauty, things we've learned from last year is we've tweaked when they go out and all that, and we've customized them with student photography here from all over the U.S. So this is more student focused. It looks like it comes from school. You know, actually while we're talking, I'm going to share. I think I have an example. Yep. So this is an actual email that went out to Hampshire High School parents. And I'll just let this be on the screen here while we talk. You'll notice that it has the school mascot at the top. You can view it in English if you'd like, and you can click here to purchase your yearbook. And when the parents click here, it takes you directly to, in this case, Hampshire High School's website to buy the book. The beauty here is it's timely. I don't know about you guys, but when I open my mail, physical mail that is, I typically do it over the recycling bin at home, and most of that junk mail, right, ends up right in the recycling bin, and I don't do anything. I don't take action on it. The yearbook, when it comes from school, again, get your personalized email. Parents respond, and today, with permission from Hampshire High School, I want to use their success as an example. And it's still early, guys. It's barely October here. We jumped in at Hampshire High School on 9/22. This is the first email that went out on 9/22. And the results have been amazing. I just want to share that. And I asked Cheryl and Shannon at school if I could share this with you. So thank you again for letting me share this example. This went out at 9:38, 9:22 in the morning in September. And that day, 64 people clicked this button to purchase their book. More important than that, I pulled a report. And actually, I'm going to pull it up here if I could. And I've gone ahead and just taken out some of the personal information as far as purchasers and all that, just to show you the results. So this is just e-business. And I pulled a report from 9/22, the day the email went out, the first one, to 9/29. So about a week, right? And these are the results. 156 books were sold in that week. As a reference, I pulled the same report, everything being the same at Hampshire High School 1 year prior, 21 books. So this is just evidence of, and that's not to say they weren't trying. They were trying really hard, as I know many of you are watching, to promote the book. You're getting announcements, you're getting the video displays, you're putting posters up that we share, social media sites, you're doing all that. The outcome here I want to share with you is these simply work, and we're happy to do it for you at no cost. That's a 742% increase, I think, in that small snapshot. And that's what I wanted, the success story I want to share with you here at Hampshire, is that 1 week, that first email, and we do this all school year, they sold 742% more books, 156 books rather than 21. So it works as those students and parents buy the book. Just an FYI, they're taken off that email list, and the email for the next month only goes to those who have not bought your non-buyer list. So that's how that works. The next one comes out on October 6th, and they're about every month, but we've timed it more cautiously this year, and feedback from parents from last year corresponding with the school calendar, just events going on, as well as holidays and all that, to make sure we're sending them at the right time. And this is an example of it. It really works well. So if you're interested, please let me know. There are absolutely no costs to any of this. I'm happy to set it up for you. Just let me know if you're interested, and we'll get it set up for your school. Okay, switching gears to another reminder is eShare. So if you have any challenges, sometimes we do is collecting photos from the community. So many of you listening here on Yearbook staff Hopefully, we have some photographers in the room. That's how I got started as a high school student. But you might need pictures from other sources, be it other students, parents, teachers, for athletic events or any other events at school. eShare is one more tool that we provide. Let me know if you want more information on setting up. There are no costs, again, on this. And it provides not only a website for your community to send you photos, and that's all it is, by the way. It's not a social media tool. It doesn't share pictures. They can't see what other people have done. There's no commenting. It's simply an electronic, shoebox, if we will, from the old days where we would drop pictures in. It's just to submit photos to all of you listening for consideration in the yearbook. Okay. There's also an iOS app and Android. So if parents and teachers and students want to send them right from a game from their phone, they can even do that, and they come into you for a review and then place you on pages if you choose. So eShare. Questions, let me know. Last podcast episode, September, I think I showed some examples of the eclipse photos I took down in Southern Illinois. If you're at all interested in borrowing those for your yearbook, royalty free, of course, let me know. I'm happy to share those with you. Another reminder, this time of year is online art sessions. So if you are creating your own cover and say you would like a little assistance in just tweaking a little bit, that's something we can do. If you have a concept for a cover design, but you're not sure how to put pen to paper, so to speak, we can create it from scratch for you. The gamut, anywhere in that gamut that you'd like, we're happy to help. The way the virtual art session works is you let me know a few dates and times that work for you, preferably in a couple week window, because they're busy in the art department this time of year, as you might imagine. And we schedule a time where basically we get the artist your information as far as what you're thinking, ideas, maybe a sketch, whatnot, so they can see it in advance. And then at that time, it's usually about an hour, we set you up with a phone call where you can talk with them in real time. More importantly, see their screen on your screen. And it works best if you put on a projector in the classroom, right? So we can all see it together. So just imagine that you're sitting in our art department in Kansas City and you're sharing your ideas, your concepts, or your sketches with the artist, and they're tweaking them with you or creating them from scratch as you watch. We can do that today with the internet, and you can just watch it happen on your screen there in your classroom and request things, change over the phone, and they do it for you as you watch. So it's a really cool way to interact with the art department, and an artist can help you as if they're sitting at school with you. So again, virtual art sessions. If you have any questions on setting one of those up online, please let me know and I can schedule it for you. Another topic that I'd like to share with you is called Plus One. Some of you may have been doing this already in the past, so I just wanted to share an example with you. But basically, Plus One is a digital copy of the yearbook. And the idea here, sorry, I'm trying to pull up the website here. The idea here is that it's a way for you to have a digital copy of your yearbook for students to have on their mobile device. So basically, and I'm not sure I'll have this webpage up here to show you, but if you have any questions about this app, I'll show you a quick 30-second commercial here. It's something that's completely free. There's no extra work for creating this. It's just a digital copy of your book. So I'll play this little video just to show you. I'll be right back.
Plus One, the new Herff Jones app that allows you to take your yearbook anywhere and everywhere you go. That's right, anywhere and everywhere you go. Share your memories with friends and family, or simply browse them digitally. You'll always have access to your photos, your memories, and your friends. Plus One, your digital yearbook experience. Download the app today to your smartphone or tablet. Only available with the purchase of your yearbook and only from Herff Jones.
And that's key. Right at the end there, she said it's only available to those who've bought a book. We don't want to distract from that printed book that last time, right? We want to make sure those who are buying that are still buying that, and then this is kind of a bonus. I recommend it. You make it available, say, a week or two after the printed book arrives, and just a way to give a digital copy they can flip through on the phone. It's a great duplicate to keep and take with you, and say you go off to college or the workforce, and you may not bring your books, and you want to share a memory. It's a great way to do so, but still have that printed book for the long term. So, any questions about that? Let me know. Again, no cost on this service at all. The next reminder is just, feel free to call, email anytime to either for me to come into school, talk on the phone, do a virtual meeting like we are doing here, but we're live, and cover any questions you might have about your book. Also, video tutorials. I know it's this time of year we're learning about e-design and how to upload pictures and how to tag and just, basically the foundation stuff. It's not exciting, but we all have to learn it, or a refresher if you've been on Yearbook before. I have tutorial videos for you. If you have a specific question, please let me know, and I can email you a link where you can watch, a brief 2-minute video that just shows you how to tag photos, for example, how to fix red eye, very specific topics. So let me know, because that's my job. I want to help make your job easier, and I have a wealth of resources to share with you. Last reminder is covers. We really need to get those done by Halloween, so that's creeping up quickly here, being October already. So please keep that in mind, that we want to get that done. Let me know how we can help you create that cover that you're dreaming about for this year. Okay, those are the reminders for the podcast this month. Switching gears, we have 2 quick presentations here. Like I said, the first one is the Yearbook plant video, and it just shows you behind the scenes and how your books are made. Before we get to that, I'm going to show you this very short video. It's 4 minutes long. When I was there this past summer, I got to just see all the updates, and one of those updates is this new piece of equipment that it laser cuts covers. This is a short little video. I'll just play it here while we're talking. And the beauty of this is, just keep in mind fine detail. So you'll see it's just cutting out letters there, but you can cut out very fine detail. So very thin, delicate design. So again, as you're brainstorming ideas for your cover, keep that in mind, that we can use this machine to really make it a reality. If there's a concept you have where you're cutting something out, fine detail, and then you see the end sheet through this when the book is closed, to interact between the inside and the outside of the book. Really cool tool. If there's something you have in mind to put that to use, please let me know. And again, this is the plant video. You may have seen this pass. It's a couple of years old now. We've done a lot of updates since. I'll share a couple of those here as we watch it, but it's about 3.5 minutes, and I'm just going to let you watch that here. As we start here, we're going to go into the press room. Obviously, this is where your printed sheets are printed. It's 16 pages to a sheet of paper there you see stacked. A little trivia for those listening, CMYK, does anyone know what that is? A little illustration on the screen here. CMYK stands for the 4 colors that we use to print your yearbook: cyan, yellow, magenta, and black. Black is K. And that gives us the illusion of full color that we perceive with the human eye. Really cool. The next screen is going to show you the collator, and I want to just explain that a little bit. Your book is broken down into groupings of 16 pages. 1, 2, 3, as you see on the screen, and so on. These are groupings of signatures. Signatures, 16 pages. Signature 1 is pages 1 through 16. Sig 2 is 17 through 32, and so on. You'll see the operator here is collecting those signatures. They get sewn and bound into the book. The reason I explain that there in a little more detail than usual is you might hear from me or Sarah throughout the school year saying, hey, is there any chance you could submit fill in the blank, page 7, for example. And the reason we're asking for that is that might be the last page within that signature 1. And as soon as we get that from you, if you're able to, it's not required, but if you are, that's why we ask, then we can print that signature in front. And this machine actually takes all of those pages collected and marries them to the cover and kicks it out, and we get ready for boxing it up and sending it to you at school. So in a quick nutshell, that's how your books are made, boxed up, sent to your school. By the way, we have an open door policy in Kansas City. If you're ever there on a family trip or a conference and you'd like to see behind the scenes and the sheer magnitude of how things are made and all the people that work on your books, after you submit pages to us, please let me know. We're happy to arrange that for you and get you a tour of the plant. You'll meet all the folks, including Sarah Eagle and I. Here's a picture of Sarah in the press room, and she'll often be there to give you a tour if the scheduling works out and show you, how things are made. So if you're interested, just let me know. And if you're not interested, that's okay. I'm somewhat of a printing geek myself, so I enjoy that kind of stuff. Any factory tour I find fascinating. Not that you have to be. Switching gears to what happens then. This is the fun part, right? For everyone in the room, I hope you would agree This is the fun time. This is when the books arrive at school. You get to open the first box and the smell of fresh ink and see your masterpiece finished. And the beauty of that is you get to sit down and look at it for the first time, hopefully as a yearbook staff as they are here, and then pass that out to the whole school community and have everyone enjoy all the hard work that you put into it. So that's why we all work so hard on that. Again, National Yearbook Week, we're here to celebrate that, and I just wanted to share that video with you there. The last piece for today is the photo presentation. It's about 14 minutes long. It's filled with a wealth of knowledge from Scott Rogers at Stuart Rogers Photography. He also shared a cheat sheet on just a few helpful tidbits as you go out and start shooting things. So I'm going to end with this video today. Again, it's about 14 minutes. If you've come back to the podcast here today and you wanted to watch this another day, here's where we're going to start. I'm going to mute myself so you can hear Scott and his presentation on photography. Enjoy.
I'm Scott Rogers from Stuart Rogers Photography, and I want to talk today about covering events at schools, or any event you wanted to cover. It's the same basic rules going through, no matter what the event. To me, it all goes back to a picture story in Life magazine, which is hard to find anymore, but Life magazine would tell a story of an entire event in 1 or 2 pages, done by amazing photojournalists, and that's really what we're trying to do here with your yearbook. In a picture story, you have to tell the story. You start with the beginning, the middle, and the end, and show that in your pictures. In the case of a magazine, at the beginning is top left, end is bottom right. You use transitions. You want to show scene setters of where you are. Transitions are when you're moving from one place to another. So a scene setter might be the whole football field empty. Transition might be all the crowd walking in the door. The action, and then ending might be the football sitting on the field at the end of with the empty stadium. All of that is part of your story, and then we use compositional rules to make it happen. But what is at a game, for instance? Say you're at a football game. There is, of course, the game itself with the football players running around the field. It's a very important part of it, obviously. It's the entertainment, but there's much more to it. There are the fans, people having fun. There's an entire story going on. So if you photograph only the game, you're missing probably, in my mind, 80% of the action of that day. From the other kids, little brothers and sisters, parents, teachers, coaches, friends, even the opposition team, kids selling hot dogs. There's a million things happening at that game, and honestly, every one of those little things has a story. You could actually take an entire yearbook page devoted to the kids selling the hot dogs and tell the story of setting up the hot dog stand, selling the hot dogs, and closing it down. So let's go to photo composition and how there are 3 basic rules, basically 4 rules, I'll say, of photo composition. And they're in every picture you see, really in every movie scene you see. It's all the same stuff. Magazine stories, Renaissance painting, modern art, it's all the same stuff. Rule of thirds is that you take the picture frame and make a tic-tac-toe board on it, and the subject is never in the middle. It's always in one of the intersections of your tic-tac-toe board. So when Grandma takes a picture, she holds up her old camera, and you're at the game, and she puts you right smack in the middle. But when a journalist takes that same picture, you are never in the middle. Your face is in one of the intersections of that line, and all of the story of that event is behind it. Leading lines are that if there are any visual elements that are lines, whether it's a banister or a road or something, those lines lead to the subject. And in this little diagram, they're leading from the corner into the rule of third intersection where the face or subject would be. There's creating depth in your pictures, and Renaissance painters did that. If you look at paintings before the Renaissance, they're all two-dimensional pictures, very flat. What the Renaissance painters figured out is that you can use your composition and lighting to make depth. So in all of their paintings, there's a foreground, a subject, a background, and an infinity, and they're all elements, and they're all carefully placed, usually in the rule of third spots. In this picture, the foreground is the stuff in the bottom left. The subject is the ladies playing the piano, it looks like. Background is the wall. Infinity is the very carefully placed picture on the wall that is of a scene off to infinity. And again, if you look, none of those people are in the middle or elements. They're all in the rule of thirds. Then there's triangles. Every picture is also a triangle. Compositionally, usually the whole picture, the whole subject is a triangle, and also each person within it are triangles. Finally, short lighting is that you're always shooting into the shadow side. So instead of having the sun in the face of your subject and behind you as a photographer, the sun is always behind your subject and in your face, so you can't see what you're doing, but it makes a better picture. Having the light behind a subject means that that shadow, you're shooting into the shadow side, and that sun is rimming around the person and creating all this detail in the subject's face. The person on the left is the famous girl with the pearl earring, and she is traditional short lighting. So there's a shadow. The lighting is being used to create that face just the way makeup does. If you look on the right, the Mad Men, they use traditional elements in every scene, every picture. They're way into these rules. If you look at this one, the napkins on the table are the foreground, the people are the subject, the walls behind the background, and the open window to infinity. Each person has short light on their face, creating that beautiful cheekbone on her and creating the kind of mean, hard guy look on him. And it works, and believe me, that was not coincidence. That light on her is completely manufactured. They made that happen with a bunch of reflectors and people just off frame. Rolling Stone is known for really their covers and amazing compositional and photography. They're all using Renaissance painting composition. If you see this one, they're all short lit, they're not in the center, they're all in the basic compositional rules. So let's go to the pros. How do they use this when you're making a living as a commercial photographer? If you see the, again, Rolling Stone cover with Julia Roberts, she's got the deck as leading lines into her from two directions. She is a complete triangle. Her face is short lit. They're shooting into the shadow side, creating that cheekbone that is, I'm sure, completely artificially made in this case. Behind her is the wall for infinity, and that stairs in the back right is not by mistake. That is leading off to nowhere. Again, on, say, the bottom right picture, the Mad Men picture, again, he's got looks like a crumpled up bedspread in front of him as a foreground. He is the subject. The woman is the background, and open windows become infinity. Going through, say, the even pictures without people, that Corbis picture in the middle on the top, we've got the steeple in the front, which is the foreground, the bell tower background, ocean. No, I'm sorry. Bell tower is actually the subject in this one. The ocean is the background, and that little island is infinity. The bottom left one is a painting. So here's a graphic arts. I wouldn't even call this a painting. It's a graphic arts piece. And you see its rule of thirds. The ocean is the foreground. The people are in the top left corner of the rule of thirds in the little boat. The island is background, and there's a little mountain carefully put way back there to create infinity. Again, Nancy Reagan, same thing. That picture of her, she's not in the middle. It's got all the elements. As we go down, even say there's modern art paintings on the right, they are completely manufactured from somebody's head, I would imagine. They're just creating these images, and they're using the exact same rules, same lighting, same triangles, leading lines. All of it is right there. And the foreground subject, so that even though this is modern art, these are using Renaissance painting rules. So how does that apply to yearbook pictures? If you look at the couple on the top left, they are obviously not in the center of the picture. The light is behind them, creating that amazing light on her and that cheekbone and just rimming her face. And her dress, everything about it is amazing. And actually, just by coincidence or good luck, the guy is in this very dark sort of shadowy spot. So if you're trying to send a message that here's like the angel with the light on her face and the guy is a little bit of a dark figure in this picture, it all fits, and it's pretty cool. On the right top, you could take a picture of everybody dancing and just hold up your camera and take this great picture of everybody partying. But how much better to have all the compositional rules happening where the table in the foreground with the DJ's stuff on it is your foreground. The people then become the subject, framed by all that. Background is the tent behind them, and infinity is the doors behind that. And it makes it all very interesting. And it tells much more of a story than just a bunch of people dancing. If you look at the bottom right again, he's not in the center, he's in the rule of thirds line. So at a football game, the top right picture is just your normal football team game, right? So that's your 20% of the game in my head. But if you go through and see what the other pictures of maybe not the guys running around the field, you get some really interesting things. And they're interesting, say the bottom right is interesting because that subject is not right in the middle of the picture. And going through to more, see even the bottom right guy here. So they're fun pictures because they show emotion and they're well crafted. And the person with the camera is thinking about where they're putting their camera and what they're including. If you look at the bottom left picture, it has everything going. It's got the girl on the left is feeling something, showing emotion as she's cheering her friend on. The girl in the pool is obviously feeling something else as she's trying to win that race. And then there's even the coach on the back left there who's cheering her on. It's got emotion and it's got all the compositional elements, and then leading lines happening, triangles, it's all there. Even the girl on the left, the way she's sitting is triangular. Every picture on this page also is showing people feeling things, which is the key to the whole thing and making it even more fun. So if you can get your composition down and then get people actually happy or sad or angry or feeling something, then it just makes the whole thing come together. The other thing we're doing in all these is mixing it up. So you have big wide pictures of scenes, and then you have close-up pictures of scenes, and then you have really close pictures. So then you're creating a page, and it's not all the same camera, the same lens. It's moving around a lot between compositional elements and rules. And this slide, so this is looks like a gallery show or a recital. You're setting the scene on the top left, lane tech there with the little that's showing you where you are. There's a wider angle picture of the quartet playing, and then close-ups of people enjoying the artwork, close-ups of the artists, more wide-angle pictures of things happening. You're telling the entire story with lighting, composition, and also, again, people feeling things. Obviously, there's emotion in a lot of these pictures, too, and it all comes together. Making that happen, I think there are very complicated rules associated with ISO and f-stop and film speed and how they all tie together. And if you know all those things, it's amazing and great. White balance also. If you don't worry, because there are also great little icons on the camera that if you don't know the technical behind it, and you're at a football game, there's a little picture of a guy running around and you can just set the camera to that. Then as you learn more complex rules, if you get into that, then you can take much more control and show more. But honestly, the computer-generated pictures are not bad. They're making pretty good choices. So if you're at a football game and you pick the running guy, you're going to get pretty good pictures. If you're at the lake and you pick the little icon of the lake scene, it's probably going to be a pretty good picture. Now, if you go and do that all manually and you know how to do it, yes, you can make it a little bit better, but you're missing, I guess you don't want to get lost in the technical details and miss the picture in front of you. So if you're sitting there fumbling with the settings on your camera, while the most amazing piece of emotion is happening in front of you, you miss the picture. And to me, it's much more important to show what's happening and what people are feeling than have the exact right setting, honestly, because you can fix that stuff later too if you need to. In the studio setting like this room, we use the same rules where we have we have lights that can be used in a very complicated way by somebody who knows how to do them, and they can do amazing pictures like a Hollywood starlit picture from the 30s. We also have lighting that you can use if you don't know how to do that. You get pretty basic lighting because it's much more important to know the person in front of you and get them to relax and get them to feel something and capture that on your camera than to have them feeling something while you're trying to mess with your camera and you miss the whole picture. And the same thing applies on a game. If you're staring down at that little setting numbers while the winning pass is caught and everybody is screaming and cheering, you just missed it. You might end up with a great picture after it's all done, but it won't show the emotion. Thanks for including me in this, Jamie. And next time we'll probably put a link here to some technical details that talk about the more advanced settings for, say, shooting a theater and a play, volleyball, indoor flash, pools. Probably the most difficult game to shoot is a volleyball game. Beyond that, I think we'll have sometime in the future another presentation that talks about the details of the camera settings and how to use them to your advantage. But for now, I mean, I think the key to this is really the compositional elements. You get that down, then you can build over the layers of everything else. Thanks.
So I'd like to thank Scott again at Stuart Rogers for providing his expertise in this area. And I think that last point he made at the end there is most important. And I love camera gear and technical side of things and all too, but none of that matters if we miss what's happening. So, sometimes it can be overwhelming figuring out the settings on the camera. As he said, sometimes it's the best option. Just pick one of those graphics that makes sense for what you're shooting, because it's more important to focus on one, making sure we capture it, it doesn't miss us. And the second is the basic composition. He talked about rule of thirds and leading lines and all of that. And that's all about camera placement and where you're standing, making sure you move. One of the things I'd like to always add to this is the most important piece of gear that you're going to have with you when you go out to shoot a live event are your feet. You need to move around the event. The worst thing you can do is stand in the same place and get all of the images from one location. You'll regret that later. I've learned the hard way, so I'll add that piece of advice is make sure you walk around and survey the scene and get different points of view, different perspective, focus on composition, let the camera settings come later, if you will, and maybe use one of those automated exposure options to start. But he did mention a exposure cheat sheet, which I'll be including, as he said, the link in the notes below the podcast here. And it will give you some suggestions for camera settings for everything from, a play in the theater to volleyball, as he said, one of the most difficult to shoot, to outdoor and indoor sports, night activities. The pool is very difficult, and of course flash and when to use it. So I'll include that as well, some helpful tidbits from Scott at Stuart Rogers. I hope you found this helpful, and I look forward to talking with you soon. If you have any questions on anything we covered, please give me a call or shoot me an email. If you have any suggestions for topics you'd like covered in future episodes, please let me know. You have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.